This is your whole life right here, man. This is your whole life in here. What happens when Cody, what would you do right now if I came in there and took your phone and just ran off with it?
Dude, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I hope I got that insured or I got
Yeah,
stuff backed up or what.
When you can, like, I really believe in distancing myself from that and really controlling my schedule and what I spend time on. Like, the less time you spend doing things you don't like, maybe going to that bar you get the worst hangover from, and the moment you start spending more time doing the things you love, you really find out what you want to do or your purpose, stuff like that. Like, you find yourself on accident.
Welcome back to CA Power Players Podcast, live every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Today we get a big-time guest, man, all the way from Henderson, Kentucky, my good buddy, Mason VanMeter, who is absolutely killing it quickly. Mason, welcome, buddy. Appreciate you being on this thing.
Oh, thank you, man. Honored to be on here.
Dude, you've how long have you been in the industry?
Pretty much started at the beginning of March of this year.
That's incredible, dude. So your speed is impressive. Okay, for those that have been on and been listening to podcasts, you've heard some people that have been in the industry, 8 years and 80 years, and just kidding. But to go from zero to like heavy six figures and really building a team and recruiting and all this in technically what, like 8 months?
Yeah, right around 8-9 months, something like that.
8-9 months is amazing, buddy. Kudos to you. What do you attribute your hasty success to? And has it always felt easy all 8 months?
Mainly just accountability, man. I'm a big proponent of sweat equity. So you get in what you put in. You get what you're worth in this industry. That's what I'd say most of my success comes from. But I mean, most of it is as well just confidence. So I mean, it's a burn all the ships behind me when I left my last place, and it's either it's gonna work or it's gonna work for me.
Yes. And what were you doing? You were you selling out of a meat? Were you selling meat out of or was that not you?
No, that's Jeremy Whitaker.
That's Jeremy. About. That's Jeremy. That's my buddy Jeremy. That's right.
I did a lot of vibration analysis, rebuilt electric motors, and some machine work and concrete my whole life. So,
wow. So you went from a lot of manual labor type stuff,
yeah,
to now mental labor, right? How's that transition been?
For me, it hasn't really been hard. I've been a big athlete my whole life, so I've always I've always understood the importance of winning to me and what that can do for you.
Yes.
It's just a huge mental confidence builder.
Totally. And what sports did you play back then?
I've done a lot of mixed martial arts and then baseball.
Yeah, I didn't know the baseball piece. I knew the mixed martial arts piece. So you guys, if you're walking at 8% 2022 in next July, and you see this dude, man, don't mess with him. Okay, he's if you see him, he's my security from now on. Okay, after this,
you have to do that,
dude. That's amazing, buddy. You could actually, like, we've got people that have walked like, Ray Lewis and some of these big time speakers and Michael Irvin, and they look at him like, dude, you're really my security. But you could actually hold your own, which is pretty cool,
Yeah, try not to get into too much stuff.
Yeah,
negativity out.
I love it. I don't want to, but if I need to, man, I'm ready. Okay, I could do it. So let's kind of rewind. About 9 months ago, you were getting in the industry. What did you think? Like, why did you transition the industry? What was the thought process there?
I really just got tired of getting dirty every day, man, laying in oil, getting hot metal chips, burning holes through your shirt, always being gone for my dogs. That I got tired of having a price tag an hour put on my value. I felt like I was worth more than a lot of mid-20s an hour. So just ready for a new environment, somewhere where you actually feel appreciated.
Yeah, now you're going from $20 an hour to a couple $100 an hour pretty quick.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right? Which is incredible. Okay, and then talk through your first few weeks as an agent. Like, what did you do? Did you shadow? Did you book appointments? Were you kind of like hesitant to work the phones? Like, let's talk about some of the like not fun pieces. Let's be vulnerable for a second about your first few weeks.
Dude, phones. Oh my God, I hated that, man. It felt like a brick.
Yes. Yes.
Like I wasn't good enough. Yeah. The biggest thing I did was just shadow other people. I heard
Yeah.
skill with pride in one of our
Yes.
national calls, and I copied whoever was doing the best in my group, and then kept moving up and throughout the company, looking at other people, just taking really a shopping cart approach. Take a
Yes.
little bit from Jeremy, take a little bit from this guy, put this back. I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. Take a
Yes.
little bit more. That's kind of what I did.
Yeah, that's cool. This whole $20 to $200 an hour start running through my head because that's just so impressive and cool. So okay, so other than the phones, like, do you remember a certain call session where you called through some stuff and you had like no success and you're like, what the freak did I do here?
My first big dial day, I made over like 350 dials. I
Wow.
talked to 43 people and set 0 appointments.
No way.
I'd get on the phone. Hey, this is, oh, I'm not interested. Okay, thanks. And just,
Oh my
I didn't know
gosh.
it. You just don't know what you don't know. So
But you did something that most people don't do. You made, what did you say, 350 dials or something like that?
yeah, I just threw myself into it. I made a check mark book. I drew like 500 tallies and said, I bet once I scratch all these out, I'll be decent on the phone.
Okay. And what did you learn? Like, what was the mistake that you were making that we can look back on and recognize now because there's a lot of dials. You talked to a good amount of people and then you didn't book any. What did you learn from the experience?
Uh, I learned activity always beats talent, because the next day really made up for it once I got better at the script practicing throughout that whole day. Um, I really understood ratios, but really just doing the dials, that's the biggest part for a lot of people, just picking up the phone. If someone tells me they only did 50 dials and they wonder why they're not doing it like that, you're just going to walk yourself right out of this business. I'll be straightforward.
Yeah, it's true.
The biggest thing, I just learned not to sound like, I learned a lot about matching tonality and body behavior. Like if you're sitting here hunched over, hating your life, people can pick that up, and people don't want to buy from people like that.
That's right. That's right. They want to buy from somebody that's having some fun. So when you look at the 43 people you talked to, and then before the second day, what did you change in the script other than like tonality and stuff? Were certain things you were saying that were just really dumb, or was it your confidence level, or were you like,
Stuttering and
hopefully?
confidence was a lot of it. I'd get mixed up on the script. I remember someone called. I said, "Hang on, let me find the line." Man, my upline told me to, like, every 5 people you talk to and you don't set an appointment, call me. So I was blowing his phone up that week.
Oh my gosh. So literally, okay, let's stay on that for a second because before we move on, you just said that you were sitting there, okay, and you lost your place in the script. You're looking and you're like, "Hey, hang on, let me find the line again."
They just said, "Are you really reading from a script?" And just click.
Dude, do you believe anybody can, like, based on that, do you believe anybody can do this? Or is it like, no, because I mean, okay, if they wanted to work hard enough, do you believe anybody can do
If
this?
anyone is willing to put in the activity, 100%. Like I said, activity will beat
Yeah.
talent all the time. You can
Yes.
control how many dials you make.
Yes. Is that I forget, was that MJ or somebody that said that activity beats talent when talent doesn't work hard? I know Larry Bird used to say that. Like, I'm trying it's probably just a natural sports thing, but
I think it's probably Michael Jordan.
yeah, it's a good life, it's a good life lesson, right?
100%.
Just in general. Okay, so once you found your way in this place back in the script, you made some more calls. You were booking. You started booking appointments day 2.
Yeah.
What did your first, like? How much business did you write your first month?
My first month, I think, was around 15,000.
That's crazy, dudes. Can't
15,
find this.
16,000. I probably made thousands of dollars that month, but the month after it was right at 40,000 in annual premium.
What? You did 40,000 your second month?
Second or third, I'd have to check.
Goodness gracious, dude. So okay, so literally, you can't book an appointment. You're losing your place in your script, but you keep doing it. Like, where does that mental fortitude come from to just keep banging your head against the wall? Like, you're not having success, you're not having fun, it's not going well, and you just keep showing up.
A lot of David Goggins, a lot of it's just accountability. Like I said, again, man, I don't believe in titles. Like even you
Yeah.
and I, like you're one of the industry's best, like
Thanks, man.
teachers or train, whatever you want to call yourself. But
Sure.
I just see you as a normal human who took a chance on himself and was willing to bet the odds on him. Like it,
Yes.
and it just played out for you because you did the right things.
Yes.
If you can do that, I can. If I can, anybody can.
Yes. That's what I've loved about you since the moment I met you is that right there. Like, not just the title stuff, but like,
Well,
you,
the titles, like it just gives someone an excuse to say, well, Cody's special. Cody started off with money. There's always whatever BS story you're telling yourself is the exact reason why you're not succeeding.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I love that you're like, dude, if one person can do this, so can I. Did you always have that your whole life?
Not always. Bullied a lot in like elementary school and stuff like that. Like a lot of
Wow.
childhood trauma, whatever.
Is that where the martial arts came from?
My uncle actually got me into that, and so did my dad. He was in the military, so it started off at a pretty early age and just did it. Kept doing it for about 8-9 years. Got really
Wow.
good at it, and then
And people stopped picking on you.
yeah, I mean, we've all. Everyone's got some sort of messed up past,
Yeah.
but that's kind of that sort of story.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so then you make 15, you do 15,000 in premium first month, even after like setting no appointments your first session, right? Hundreds
Yeah,
of dials, which is crazy. Thousands of dollars over $1,000 your first month, 40K in premium your second month. And this was like March and April, or was this like April and May?
it was March and April that
Okay,
I'm
March and
looking at my
April.
thing. It was right around 15,000 and then 40,000 submit.
Okay. And then did that continue? Did it fall off? Like what's happened between
Yeah,
those?
I've averaged out a good 30,000 month, 20,000 month, 30,000 month, whatever. I am still new. I still make flaws. That's why I talk to so many people. I'll go on an ebb of recruiting and an ebb of producing.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
roller coaster until you find a good balance, but it's starting to equal out a lot for me. And now people below me are writing, so that pushes numbers up as well.
Yeah, I mean, outside of activity, what could you share with a new agent listening or someone that's in their first few months or first few years, but they haven't had success like you did? But looking back, you're like, man, dude, I wish I'd have just done this. I wish I'd have
Uh,
known this.
a lot of it, I'm not a depressing person. Like I'm super happy I'm alive, but I just think life is short.
Yeah.
You're here for a minute. It's what is in between that birth date and death date that matters. That little dash. So I mean, after that, you become a picture on the wall, right?
Yes.
You become a picture on the wall for the grandkids, and you're gone. You're no longer here. So you just have to take a chance on yourself. If my biggest piece of advice is go in 100%. If you're have your toes in the water, it's not going to work. Not going to
Yep.
work. You got to sink or swim here. So I just threw myself in the water, went in 100% because if you don't put in 100%, what are you ever going to know?
Yeah.
You're going to live with regrets, and that's not the way I want to go out.
No, no, I don't want to go down like that. I don't want to go down like that. Where do you see this thing getting to eventually? Like, how big can this thing get for you?
Oh, huge, dude. Obviously, making good relationships with even people like you and
Yeah, man.
other industry like influencers or experts, whatever you guys want to call yourselves.
Yeah.
I'll be up there with you guys in a matter of years, having my own
Oh,
conference, doing whatever.
no doubt, man. I mean, you're pushing, which I love. That's what's cool about this industry. And I was actually studying this concept this weekend. It's called the possibility index, right? So let me explain it because you're talking about it right now. When you think about, let's just say someone thinks about being a millionaire, right? Which there's more millionaires in this industry than any other industry in the world, but most people think, for example, most people think when they're growing up in like being a millionaire is totally invisible to them, right? It's invisible. Well, maybe once then they see somebody do it, or they hear that somebody was a millionaire or whatever, but nobody in their family's ever done it. So then they think, okay, then now being a millionaire is actually, they move from invisible to impossible. Well, it's not invisible, but it's not possible for me, right? It's impossible. I will never be a millionaire, right? They say that. Then they get in a career like you have with this, and you're like, dude, I think it's actually early on. You're like, dude, I don't know. I think it's possible. There's a lot of millionaires in this thing. It's possible. Now you're doing it, and you're like, dude, it's probable. Like it's actually going to happen. It's probable that Mason VanMeter will be a millionaire in this industry, right? No question about
It's not probable. That's guaranteed. Like there's 12-year-old kids making more money than me and you will ever see in our life playing Fortnite. I can make $1 million pretty easy,
dude. Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's with limiting beliefs.
Yes. So from probable, then it's like, dude, it's guaranteed it's happening. Then it becomes an actual reality, right? So that's what I talk about. Like that's what I learned about this thing called the possibility index, where this, I don't know what it is, man, but why do you think most people view success as it's like invisible, or then they see it, they see
Standards.
you. What's that?
Standards.
And
a lot of that comes from who you're hanging around. When you're hanging around a bunch of people making $12 an hour and they're fighting over custody and complaining about money all the time, like that, you start lowering your standards to like match that same sort of energy. You don't want to feel left out. So you got to put yourself around people who are doing 10 times better than you. That way you want to become more like them.
Yes. I love that. And then what about going from impossible to possible? Like what made you think this is possibly the right career for me?
Oh, the moment I took my first application on a family, like how good it felt, and I knew I wanted to do this. Like it's not like I'm some scam artist car dealer trying to sell people pinstripes and nitrogen filled tires and hidden interest rates. Like I'm giving them something that's going to give their family a fighting chance to protect their legacy or whatever. Like that means something to me.
True. Yeah, I can tell that impacts you, that ability to help people, and like the passion. You could feel the passion when you were talking about that, which is really cool. I mean, this thing can get big. That's what's awesome about it. Like this thing has the potential to get really, really big, which I love. And there's no doubt, like you're, it's the right career. When you talk about like people that have mentors in your life that have really got your attention and helped you along the way get to where you are now, who comes to mind for you, whether it's in the industry, family, outside, whatever?
A lot of it comes from myself, just not wanting to have the same childhood in the future, even for my own kids. So a lot of that motivation just comes from me wanting to get out of the rut I was in as a child. But a lot of it also comes from people like David Goggins, one of my hugest role models. And then probably my Uncle Mark was a really big kind of inspiration growing up.
Good.
So, I mean, I had some of those family members that were like that, but a lot of it just comes from me finding out who I was or who I was meant to be. And that.
Yes. Well, you were definitely meant to do something big, and that brings me to my next point, which it's you just reminded me of something I've been thinking about. I'm actually thinking about building a keynote around this entire concept. I heard a pastor say this recently when I was at a men's conference, and it really stood out to me. Right, and he said, "Why are you just fitting in when you were when you were called to stand out?" Right. And you just really referenced that, like you believe that you were called, dude. I mean, I believe everyone was called to stand out, but that concept really gets my attention, where most people are just fitting in. How do they go from fitting in your opinion, to really standing out like you do?
I think disassociating with like negativity is a huge thing. It's one of Symmetry's core values. I love that. And then really just getting rid of the excess. Like it.
Yes.
This is your whole life right here, man. This is your whole life in here. What happens when Cody, what would you do right now if I came in there and took your phone and just ran off with it?
Dude, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I hope I got that insured, or I got
you
backed up, or what?
When you can, like, I really believe in distancing myself from that and really controlling my schedule and what I spend time on. Like the less time you spend doing things you don't like, maybe going to that bar you get the worst hangover from. And the moment you start spending more time doing the things you love, you really find out what you want to do or your purpose, stuff like that. Like you find yourself on accident.
Yes. That's so true. Yeah. And that's what's cool about this thing is you can really find it. Okay. So now let's talk through you've had some success on the sales side, clearly, just from a pure activity standpoint. Now you're also building and recruiting. If someone wants to do that, because I like the best way for you to guarantee that you're a millionaire is to build and recruit.
100%.
Right?
That's actually the quickest form of money. Producing is just temporary income. Building is permanent.
Yeah.
But I mean, how fast can you get rich? I think I love the Wolf of Wall Street. There's only one way to get rich, and that's quick. I love that.
Yeah.
Why would I take 100? Why would I take 70 years to get rich on my own pen when you can do it in 6 or 7? And that's generational wealth.
Yes. Extreme generational wealth. And that's all about building too. So what's your thoughts on how to get good at recruiting and building? Like, how many agents have you total do you think you've recruited? Now they're all not still there, obviously.
I've probably recruited around 50, like maybe 60.
Okay. That's pretty solid.
Like I'm talking good solid people too, because I don't move everybody forward. I've done hundreds. I've probably done 1,000 interviews.
Whew.
But I learned early on not to sell the opportunity. When I first hear recruiters, they're just spewing out of their mouth like a fire hose. Like you can't take all that. That's such a big turnoff. So
Yes.
I learned to just ask very good questions about what they're running from. Everyone's got a why of why they come into this industry. Either I wasn't making enough money, I want more time with my family. Like really dig into that and let them do the research. They'll sell themselves on it. They should be researching me before coming here.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people I want, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If they're taking 14 days to do something, it's going to take them 14 days to call leads. It's going to take them 14 days to close a one set appointment.
Yeah.
And I work with a very select group of individuals.
Yeah, you're right. And when you're looking for those selects, what are you looking for?
Integrity, work ethic, and coachability.
Integrity, work ethic, coachability. Integrity is obvious, right?
It's a non-negotiable for me. I don't want someone who's just worried about how much money can I get out of a term. When I cannot stand seeing this, like selling terms to 75-year-olds and all this other stuff. But just doing the right thing, even when no one's looking. And then coachability is a big thing here, because clearly what you were doing before you came here was not working, or you wouldn't be here. So now it's your turn to listen to me. We're going to do this one time. It's going to be right.
True. And let's go to work ethic. Have you found a way to identify if they're actually going to have work ethic?
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Here's a secret: employed, unemployed, employed, unemployed. When I see dials and contacts and appointments set, that's usually a good indication.
And is there something they can do if they just are afraid of the phone?
Call me.
Yeah, there you go.
Like role play is easily the best tool out there.
Yeah, so good. If someone wanted to reach, if they're like younger and like, dude, I don't know what to do or how to do it, and they wanted to reach out and learn more from you and get help from you, how would they do that? Well, email, Facebook, Instagram,
you can
whatever.
Search me on YouTube, just Mason VanMeter. I'll give out my phone number and stuff. It's 270-724-3633. And then my email address is vanmetersfg@gmail.com.
Boom. Dude's giving out everything. What's your experience been with power players so far?
It's been pretty phenomenal. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Like that Tracy Lounsbury guy. He was super down to earth. He took the time to come sit with me for an hour before I started my day one day, just to talk about annuities, because I was pretty much clueless on those. So
that's awesome.
He was super down to earth and humble to me. So I've had nothing but good experience so far in the group.
That's amazing. That's powerful when you can literally be a part of something to where you know people that have the answers. Like, you know what I mean? And we can all learn from one another. Like, that's what I learned really is, I can give myself a ton of credit, or I can just put people in the room with the right people, and they're going to get value from somebody, like you got it. And you ain't even actually been to a physical event yet because you joined after Naples, like that's cool. That's crazy. Why do you think, what's your opinion on investing in yourself? Like you've done that a couple of times and you've not been in the industry long. Have you always done it? What's your opinion on it?
Investing in myself without a doubt. If there's going to be the 1 in 100, it's going to be me. It has to be.
Yeah. I like that you said 1 in 100.
I'm just a super competitive person. It's just in my nature. Like I will probably die on a treadmill before I let someone stay on there longer than me. Like you just make time for the things that are important, and you're just not going to beat me.
Yes, we're going to do that. The Mason and Cody treadmill challenge sometime.
This is why I run 5 miles a day. Like I just, you have to condition yourself. You just don't ever know what's going to happen.
Yeah, man, you really don't. Like that piece, your health is a really important piece of business. Like people ignore that.
You have to be physically fit to be mentally strong. And when you start, like, look at the obesity epidemic in this world. Like, people shouldn't be worried about COVID. They should be worrying about weight. Like, I'm not a doctor or nothing, but 1 in 3 people are diabetics in America. That causes all kinds of health problems. And your insulin spiked all day. You're never happy. You're worried about keeping up with the Jones family next door in their $1 million house, and they're $19 million in debt. Like, it just becomes this cycle that people get trapped in, this factory worker mentality that's taught in school.
True.
I believe in breaking free of generational curses.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt. And if someone's out there and they're going through it, they're thinking about quitting, they're really struggling, what advice would you give to them?
The biggest mistake you could ever make is quit, because quitting becomes a habit, and it doesn't just affect you later on in life. It's going to affect your family, your kids, whatever. Like you always quit on yourself. It becomes habitual.
Yes. And you don't want it to become habitual. You do not want it to become a part of your DNA.
No, I mean, if this took you 3 years, would it still be worth it? Absolutely. If it took you 30 years, I tell you, it'd still be worth it. It's the best industry to be in. You get what you're worth. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Dude, thank you for coming on and sharing the knowledge and dropping some bombs. And also, let us know in comments how much you enjoyed hearing from Mason VanMeter today. Okay, reach out to him, get some help from him. Dude, Mason, thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you being a part of Power Players, and thanks for being a part of this interview.
Thank you for inviting me, man.
You got it, brother. Okay, thanks for listening to CI Power Players podcast. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. If you love this video, you know I got another one that you're going to love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And I'll see you in there. Which objection do you think agents struggle with the most early in a call? I'm curious what you guys are thinking, by the way, too. You feel free to comment.